I don't feel comfortable saying anything witty about this one because I am very pale.
And I'm the Asian.
Hit us with it, Jarvis.
Yeah. So, welcome back to Full Time Movie Fans. I gotta just say, you see this here. It's a 20-ounce Red Bull kind of day for me.
This is not
What kind of day
product
you
placement.
having?
Unless you want it to be. What kind of day am I having? That's a loaded question. I've had such a weird couple of weeks of like thing after thing after thing happening.
Yeah.
I went out and got a scratch off ticket just to see if it would like improve my luck. And I was one little like scratch away from $250,000.
That's always worse.
I got
than
nothing.
That's always worse than if you're like really far away from here. Like, I never had a chance. But like,
Right, yeah.
when you're
But it's,
one
like,
way,
right there.
You're just like,
Yeah,
what's happening?
and I knew the whole time too. I was like, "Yep, there's 3, and I need one more, and it's not
Yeah,
gonna
there
happen."
It is.
But
Well,
maybe, but it didn't.
Yeah, so the Asian thing is very relevant to the movie we're talking about today.
Very,
Yeah,
crazy rich. I am not.
Crazy rich. Yeah, and that connects to the
I'm
almost being crazy rich.
I'm spontaneously broke.
Yeah, same. I'm extremely broke, Asian. Never been anything but that, I think.
Jarvis, we missed the opportunity to have the double feature of a lifetime.
Oh.
We should have done Crazy Rich Asians and then Parasite.
Oh
That
yeah.
would have been a great double feature.
Well, we could do that next week.
That's true. We could.
We could always do, yeah, because Parasite is really good.
Very good.
Really, really good. I know
Very
you have
good.
a lot to say
I
about that
do
one.
because I was mad that it won Best Picture
Yeah.
against La La Land.
Yeah.
And then one of my other
didn't. I was
high,
okay with that.
one of my other high film friends, because I hadn't watched it at that time, and one of my other film friends was like, "No, dude, I promise you, absolutely deserved." And then I watched it, and I was like, well, "Okay, it's really good."
Yeah.
I love that movie.
So Crazy Rich Asians, I don't think. I mean, I think with this movie, I can relate more to a lot of the things because
Culturally, yeah,
I'm Asian.
yeah.
But I think we're both on the same level as not relating to their lifestyle at all.
No,
with how
not
crazy
even
rich
close.
they are.
Not even close.
On that,
It's
we're
also
equals.
it's also a romance movie,
yes,
which is stereotypically for women. If we
Yes.
want to talk about the
yeah.
the
Back in the day,
marketing quadrants.
back in my day, we called them chick flicks.
that's correct. That's
Um,
and that's like not a ironic
Romantic.
thing either. They do that on purpose.
Yeah, romantic. I guess this is a romantic drama. I would say more like
Yep.
a drama, not a comedy. I mean, there's some laughs, but I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a comedy. You know, what I mean?
It's
Like,
not 500 Days of Summer.
It's not game night where the whole thing is meant to just be funny and make you
My
laugh.
favorite romantic comedy, Game Night.
Oh man, so romantic and so comedy. Love it. So, so I mean, I guess do you want to get us started with like what is Crazy Rich Asians about? And I will say this movie was very culturally important.
I
I would
agree
say
with that.
more
yeah.
so than the Emoji Movie.
Probably, yeah.
But in the sense that, like, I think this was one of the first times that, like, Asians and Asian Americans really felt represented. I mean, you talk about Ke Huy Quan. He mentioned Crazy Rich Asians. He was like, oh, like when it came out, he mentioned, oh, they're putting us in movies now, and so he's like, maybe there's a chance for me, and that's how he got back into acting. He told his what do they call them, managers, or I don't know if they're managers, what do they call them these days, agents, yeah,
Of Shield.
that he wanted to get back
Agents of
into acting, and
Yeah.
and then he got the call from the Daniels for
Right.
our favorite movie that we've done so far, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Absolutely.
Academy Award winning.
Multi
Academy Award winning Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I'm hearing more and more hate it, which is
What?
hilarious to me because
That's not hilarious to me. That's
phenomenal.
infuriating because it's one of the best.
Well, once you
movies.
hit the Oscars, it's no longer like a small indie film that was really good. It's a prestigious studio movie.
Michelle Yeoh, Ke Huy Quan, a bunch of other Asians that we all love and know.
Yeah.
Stephanie Shu, or is that
Stephanie Chu, I think you're
Shu?
correct.
And then also
And this is a John Chu movie.
Grandpa.
Directed it.
The grandpa has been in so many freaking movies. Have you looked at his movie credits?
No, I haven't, but I'm
So-
sure it's pretty crazy.
So this was culturally important. I mean, I think we talked about it in one of our other movies reviews that like Asian. We were talking about it at Paprika.
Mhm.
How Asian and foreign movies are just. I feel like it's more recent within the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
That foreign movies have been getting attention, and this one was important because this was like, I mean, almost everybody's Asian in the movie.
Mhm.
I think. Are there regular white people or is it all just Asians? I don't know.
There might be background extras.
Yeah, so
But I think you're correct.
Movie,
I'm pretty sure the whole movie is
yeah,
just a bunch of
Asian people.
yeah.
So kind of
Oh wait, no, there's a few.
kind of a big deal.
There's a few white guys, old white guys.
I mean, I'll say this: I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, this is so big for Asians, like personally. But I understand that it was. You know what I'm saying? Like for me,
Yeah.
I didn't. Once the movie came out, I wasn't like, oh man, we're finally getting our due. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it came out in 2018, which is
I guess
like
you know what I think that is.
a
It's because
very
down
recent
here,
thing.
I get mistaken for Mexican. So
that's very funny, but I can understand it.
yeah.
I can really understand it. So do you want to? What do you want? Do you want to talk about if you want to, like, let people know that you like it, or do you want? What do you
I
want
mean,
to do?
yeah, you know what? Sure. Like this is definitely a movie. It's so good. It's really good. It is. It's a fun, enjoyable movie. It deals with some really deep and I would say some pretty strong cultural things. But it's like when you watch a movie that's mainly about a different ethnicity, it's always crazy to realize that it's really not that different from everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the more different a culture is, the more you feel like, oh wow, they're the same as me. You know what I'm saying? Does that make
Yeah.
any sense? I don't know if that
Yeah.
makes
Well,
any
I think
sense.
this does a really good job at highlighting the cultural differences with not just like Asian families, but like the cultural elite.
Yeah.
And so there's
Yeah.
a two-parter we get there.
hierarchy. Yeah, there's hierarchies within even in the movies from some rich people to even
Yeah.
richer.
I don't
rich
care if your father owns $1 billion corporation. We own a $3 billion corporation.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. It's so you're not that rich.
Yeah, because the wedding is at the core of like
Yeah.
the background of where things are happening, and this wedding is insane.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I remember just the moment where they just like flood the aisle with enough water, and there's like floating petals and
And everybody's got like their little light up whatever's.
lantern, yeah, or something like that. And it's
Pretty.
just like this is actually insane. Like I cannot comprehend this level of wealth.
Yeah.
So, but it's a good movie. I really enjoyed watching it again. I think I would assume you guys enjoyed watching it again.
Yeah. It's a good movie. Was that your segue to me? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so let's talk about
So, like-
what actually happens in the movie.
So yeah, I've been told I need to have my hotter takes aired out on here. So
Yeah.
like the movie was dog shit. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't. It was.
That's super hot. That's spicy.
I like this movie a lot. I don't think it did a lot for like for the genre itself. And like it's a very mid romantic movie. It has a lot of like stereotypical the
Tropes
dude
and
will
stuff.
give whatever he needs to make sure he's with the girl.
Yeah, we
and,
talked about
like,
that.
Like love triumphs over everything regardless. But there's also a lot of like I've been talking about this with Sybil a lot more recently, is that in like the newer age of movies, it's like we used to have a lot of movies that where here's a character who needs to learn a moral lesson and change
Yeah.
the way that they are. And here's that moral lesson. It's like an Aesop's fable kind of epic hero's journey.
Yeah.
And more recently, I feel like we've been getting a lot more of the character's growth is taking not a back seat, but it's like the B story to
Right.
the A story, which is the looking how this person lives their life and how they experience the world around them and how they form their own opinions and why they act the way they do, rather than just like this is the character and why they do this.
Yeah, the stories are becoming a little more surface level instead of like, hey, let's focus on the deeper roots of like what's causing this character growth or change or character flaws, and focusing on those types of things.
I think
Yeah?
it's I think no I think
Oh,
you're
wrong, sorry.
misunderstanding. I think you're misunderstanding. I think that it's more so
It's gonna
the
happen.
I think it's more so that like instead of just going on this journey of like seeing how the character grows so that you can place yourself in their shoes
Yeah.
and grow with them, you can also do that while understanding why that person is the way they are. So it's a less like making it about yourself and more
Yeah.
of putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, seeing the world through somebody else's eyes,
Mm.
while also growing with them. Because I mean, let's be real. There's a lot of movies that you've probably seen where you're like, we were just talking about where you're like, yeah, there's nothing here for me, and I'd agree with you that it's a kids movie. There's not really
Yeah.
much there for other people, but that's where this newer take on movies, I think, is coming in, where it's
Yeah.
like, I'm not an Asian woman. I'm not even like an affluent person. There's no reason I should be able to understand what's going on with Rachel or this like insane situation that she's being put into. But I do. I get to be a part of that, and I get to see how she is as a person and why she is as a person, and put myself in her shoes so that I can, if I don't even,
I don't think you'd fit in her shoes. They're probably a lot smaller than your feet are.
I can't comment on that.
I'm just saying. It most likely, if I had to bet money, I would bet money.
I,
Her
you
shoes
know
are
what? I
probably
would
a lot
also
smaller than
bet
yours.
money on that as well. Yeah,
Not a lot because we don't have a lot of money to bet on stuff.
we're not talking
both
like a
don't-
$10,000
both
bet. We're
don't
talking
work.
like 35 cents.
Yeah, I was gonna
maybe
say
$1.
I was gonna say fancy to me is like having your burger served on a plate and not in a bag. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? That's fancy to me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say something as well about the just romantic tropes and like I look, it's a movie, it's fiction, but I do think that there is something about like these types of movies. Oh man, I might get some flack for this. I don't think that
Air it out.
I don't think it promotes realistic expectations from women to men in real life dating situations. For the fact that this guy his family is richer than we can imagine, and he's just
Crazy
like,
rich, some would say.
yeah, he's like, oh, my mom, yeah, I'll leave. I won't talk to her anymore, and forget all the money that I have, and I can do basically whatever I want.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna come back with you to America and be poor with you because I love you. I think everybody wants to feel special in that kind of way, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's very realistic.
I'll argue a little bit back on that one with you.
I will say that I feel like, oh man, maybe this needs to be updated. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna put it out there. Is that like these types of hyper idealized situations in chick flicks it's kind of like female
You're gonna say the female
Corn?
gaze? The female gaze? What we call it now.
well corn is the word that I use for that because so for women it appeals to it gives them a fantasy expectation that's
Yeah.
not realistic
Uh-huh.
that they see and then that kind of affects them emotionally and mentally.
Oh, brother, if you think
Whereas,
this is
like-
what women are reading to get off, you should look up Sarah J. Maas.
I will not. I will not. But what I'm saying is like
this is mild.
well,
mild
yeah.
in comparison.
Well, but that's what I'm saying is like this plays into that in the same way like for men it's like the visual thing
It's
I think it does kind of create these like unrealistic like we want it to be that way but it's just not, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, but anyways, that's my little
Do you think it's unreasonable for a guy who hasn't had to work for things to just give up things that he never had to work for somebody else?
I mean, I think that we would like that to happen.
I agree that we would like for that to happen.
We would like for that to be
I also
realistic.
think that I also agree with you that it's unreasonable.
yeah.
But for somebody who's not thinking rationally and is like, I can only find this one girl that I love so much in my entire lifetime, like money is an object.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I will say this. From what I've experienced with people who just have a lot of options, they're not as like worried about those types of things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like somebody, a guy or girl who gets a lot of attention, they're not really as flattered by a compliment from a stranger as someone who isn't. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I guess in his situation, he found someone who, like, he's chosen. So it means more because he could have anybody. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So,
That's what they say throughout like the entire movie.
Yeah.
It's like, why this one girl, she doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's like, but she does to me.
Yeah, she's
which
nice.
I think is sweet. I think that there's something reasonable there.
Yeah.
But I also agree that like dropping your entire
Family,
livelihood and wealth and whatever just to be like, I'm gonna be with this girl. I think there's more reasonable ways around that. Let's be real.
Yeah. So, but
he had every right to go up to his mom and go, "No, you're being a bitch.
Yeah.
I love her and I'm gonna marry her."
Yeah, for sure. I love seeing that.
And they did get to the point where they're like, if you walk away, you don't get any of the family stuff, and he called their bluff, basically.
Yeah. And it usually is a bluff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Asian families are very. They'll say they disown you, but it was like, have you seen The Big Sick?
No,
With
but I
Nanjiani?
have heard of it.
He wants to. He gets with his current wife, who's a white woman and not, Indian.
Yeah.
Like he is, and so his mom, that you're not my son, but she still shows up and sends him off with his favorite dish, and so it's an Asian thing.
I actually finished reading the Scott Pilgrim graphic novels.
Once or twice.
Oh.
Scott Pilgrim?
Have you seen Scott Pilgrim?
I have.
Okay, so the books are a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
Hot take for everybody out there: I believe the movie is better, like wholeheartedly.
Wow.
Which is odd, but there is a moment where Knives' dad goes out and hunts Scott because some older white man is trying to take his Asian daughter.
Yeah.
And just like put dishonor on the family. From the words of the book, not from me, from the book itself, and then watches Scott fight one of the exes, who is also fighting the dad, and sees that he's skilled with the sword, and went, he's all right.
Yeah,
he's an all right white guy.
Yeah,
if
you can tap into Asian culture in one or two ways, you can get the pass from the parents.
God, I'm so glad you're here, Jarvis, because I can't say these things. I can't say these things without
getting in
trouble.
I can barely say them. Like I said, I kind of come off as Mexican.
I'm sure I got some Asian in me somewhere. We can do 23andMe just to see what we can get away with.
We'll have to.
Would you recommend this movie, Jarvis?
Yes, I would recommend this movie.
I feel like it does more culturally than it does in the romantic side of it.
Yes,
as well.
I would also agree with that statement. But I think it's definitely it's a good watch. And look, when it comes to movies or any medium that I really like something that has some core important message, values, and things that you can take from the movie. If you can take something good that goes in here and in here, I think that helps me be like, yes, I like this movie. And that's why I don't know if I mentioned, which we need to do at some point, which I'm sure we will because there's tons of them, but like Adam Sandler movies. I like them. They're kind of
The
weird.
Wedding Singer?
They're kind of weird, but like there's always, he always has something so good at the core that it allows me emotionally to latch onto something with it.
I'd say the same about some Jim Carrey movies. There's a lot of
Dude, so good.
90s comedians that
Jim Carrey's so good.
that play really solid, serious pieces. Oh, they're so good.
We're going to get there.
Hey, you.
How'd you like that episode? Did you like it?
You like movies? You like this one?
Do ya?
You should subscribe to this channel right now.
Also, as well.
Yeah. You got friends? Yeah, you do.
Do you? Hopefully.
Show it to them. Show
it.
this to them.
Prove it to us you got friends.
There's other videos to watch too. Why don't you watch those if you're so cool?
Yeah, prove you're not a bot. Leave a comment.
Nerd.